How you doing, Scout? Are you sleepy? Are you sleepy? Oh, big yawn.
Hello friends, it's been a while. I don't think I have sat down and made a video since May of last year? Yeah. Hi, today is February 16th, 2021, so it's been almost a year since I've done this. I promise this channel is not just going to be speed paints, but if that's your thing, you know, I got lots more of those coming up too. So if you are watching this video, there's probably a good reason that you are, because today we are talking about creative burnout, everyone's favorite thing. I think right now, well, first of all, being a creative in general is just a really hard thing to be. It's even worse when there's a pandemic happening and we have to find new ways to get ourselves out there, and, you know, social media, this, and oh my god, it's so much. If you're watching this video, there's a chance that you have experienced creative burnout before. And I don't really know many people that haven't. In some capacity, it's inevitable, it happens. Same thing with creative block, writer's block, whatever block you want to have or don't have, we've all had it before. I think right now, being a creative in the middle of a pandemic is definitely harder than it's ever been. And I am trying to be better about managing myself, my time, mental health. Hello. It really only took me up until a couple weeks ago that something clicked. So I wanted to make this video to maybe share some insight that would maybe help some of you guys that are dealing with some burnout. Disclaimer, this is probably not going to be the solution to whatever you're feeling, but the epiphany that I've had recently, I can only hope that maybe it will help some of you. So I guess let's get into the video. In my experience, I've kind of discovered that there are two main types of creative burnout. The first one is kind of more self-explanatory, where you're overworking yourself, you take on too many projects, you're doing too much, you're drowning in work. I've done that before. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. And when you do that, you know, there's a few reasons why. I am lucky to say that I do have a full-time job, and with the freelance that I do, it's not my only source of income. And I realize I'm privileged in saying that. I know that's not the case for a lot of people, which has made this really hard for so many people, because now everyone's competing with each other on social media. And I think that's one thing that needs to be addressed. Is you go on TikTok, and you have these pages that are like, all right, I have the solution for you. You need to create 3 TikToks per day, every single day. You need to post on Instagram, I don't know, 3 times a week or every other day. You need to have 10 Instagram stories. And I'm just sitting here like, yo, when do you eat dinner? It's so much. We are expected to do so much in so little time, and we still have to be functioning people, like, outside of social media. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, post-pandemic, some MTV will probably make a reality TV show called Keeping Up with the Algorithm. It's impossible. It's so hard to do this on social media. And I know a lot of people have been pushing themselves and cranking out content just because they feel like they need to crank out content. And I think because of that, we kind of start to lose our sense of self, because then we are just literally creating things just in the hopes that like 3 people would give it a like. And I think we start to lose focus on why we started doing this in the first place. So if this sounds like you, please take a moment to like take a step back, breathe, even if it's just like once a week where you don't do any work at all. You know, watch your favorite Netflix show, go on YouTube, read a book. Remember books? Remember when that was a thing, reading? Take time for yourself if you can, please, because your mental health is so important right now, especially in a time where we are all just swimming in content, and it's a lot. Overworking yourself is never fun. The second type of burnout is one that I feel like I've been experiencing a lot over the past few years, and it's doing too little. Now, I know you're probably just like, but you just said I was doing too much. Let me explain. When I say you're doing too little for yourself. Not in the grand scheme of things, like you're probably doing a million things at once. Something that I have struggled with my entire life is being a people pleaser. Whether it's personal relationships, friendships, jobs, hobbies, whatever it is, I have always tried to do too much and try and go out of my own way to please other people, even if it's not something that I may necessarily enjoy doing. A couple weeks ago, I was wondering why it took me so long to finish freelance projects. And I've been trying to wean myself off of doing so many things at once, because like I said, I do have a full-time job, and I'm lucky that I have a full-time job in my field. I went to school for graphic design, I work in digital marketing, and that is my day job, and it's great. But I still take on so much work on the side, and I'm wondering, why am I overworking myself? One of the things that I kind of realized is just because I have the capability to do something doesn't mean that I need to. And what I mean by that is I'm a graphic designer, and I have the capability to do logo work, to do brochures, to do this, that, whatever. There's so many different things in design that you can do. But I don't need to do all of them, even though I'm capable. And I think a lot of other people struggle with this too. I don't know why, that we feel like we need to be this big machine. I think also in general in like design school, they're always pushing you to be well-rounded, that you have to learn how to do this, and then what if you get a job in this industry, and blah, blah, blah. And you kind of start to lose sight of why you wanted to be a designer in the first place. I still think I'm primarily an illustrator, if I'm being completely honest. And I'm so glad that I am like a strong designer with an also very strong background in illustration. But it took me up until a few weeks ago to realize, do I even like designing logos? I like looking at them. I can appreciate a really nice brand guide. But I don't think that's what I want to do. And after that, I kind of felt like something clicked in my head, because I've been taking on so much work just for the sake of doing work for years. And half of it I didn't actually enjoy doing. Now, I'm not saying any past logos that I've done for any client that I didn't like doing, because I do make sure that any job that I do take on, I do like what I'm doing, or at least the general idea of it. Sometimes you get into the middle of a project and you're like, okay. But I've been trying to figure out why I've had such a hard time completing projects, or even just starting them, where I'll have a client reach out and be like, hey, how's this going? And I'm like, oh, it's good, but like I didn't even start it yet. And that's really bad. I think it's really important to note that just because you have the capability of doing something doesn't mean that you have to do it. And after I realized this, I've started turning down some projects as they come, because I can kind of now predict that it's not what I want to do. And for the past few years, even being out of college, I have not done any work for myself. I don't draw just because I feel like drawing. I draw because someone paid me to do something. And it's kind of taken away the magic of just being able to do a quick doodle and like post it, because now everything feels like such a chore to me. My partner has even been telling me for years, he's like, what are you doing? Why don't you just make something for yourself? And I'm always like, oh, I have this project and this project and this project and this project. And I'm like, why am I taking on so many projects? In 2021, the one kind of New Year's resolution that I have been sticking with is doing more for myself. Boy, what a difference. What a difference. I have been using Procreate on my iPad for 2 years? 3 years. I got my iPad, I think for my birthday, right after I graduated college. What year are we in? I still think 2018 is like last year, but it was 3 years ago. I started not doing so much freelance work. I think I really have like 1 or 2 projects that I have to work on right now that are more like long-term things. And instead I've been able to just freely draw what I want. And that seems like such a simple thing to do. But as a person who is so used to just putting so much pressure on myself to do all this work for other people, I kind of lost sight of who I was in the process. I haven't made a video about this yet, but in August of this past year in 2020, I rebranded my website and I launched my own shop, which was a huge step for me because I think that was kind of the beginning of me starting to become my own artist again instead of just doing so many projects for other people. Because when you do lots of projects for other people, you're doing it in a style that's for them. You're not really doing it for yourself. So I wanted to make stickers and I have them. Here's one, here's another. I have like fun little stickers. Like, this is who I am. I mean, it's not who I am, these are plants. This is kind of the style that I've always wanted to do. And in the work that I do for clients, this is not what I'm doing. So that was a really hard thing for me, coming up with a style of my own. And by taking a step back from freelance projects, I feel like I've grown so much as a person and as an artist especially. That's what this is all about. And experimenting with different styles, different textures. I really love working with textures. Right now in Procreate, I've mainly been using the 6B pencil. Yeah, the 6B pencil is like my go-to. There's just something really nice about the texture that it has. It's in the sketching section in the brushes. It's one of the default brushes that comes with Procreate, so you don't need to like buy anything crazy for it. It's been working really well. I definitely feel more confident in myself now that I've started doing more work for myself. I think overall, this is the direction that I want to start going in. I don't want to inundate myself with so much work that I feel anxious, which is another thing. If you are starting to associate work with being anxious, you're not gonna want to do anything and you're gonna not want to pick up a pencil again, which has happened to me before, which has happened to a lot of people before. And I think it's just really sad when that happens. I know this is really long-winded. I apologize for that. I tend to ramble. Creative burnout is real. It is valid. I hope if you are watching this video because you saw the title and you're like, oh, maybe this will help me. I hope in some capacity this is helpful to you. If you are doing too much, please try and take a step back. Self-care is so important, especially right now. Everyone is competing. I feel like everyone's losing sight of why we wanted to be artists in the first place. When you were younger and you were like, oh, when I grow up, I want to be an illustrator. You didn't say, oh, when I grow up, I want to try and beat the algorithm. Stop overworking yourself, please. Please, I'm begging you. If you are doing too little, like me, for yourself, try to do something on the side, even if it's just like once a week. Do a quick drawing for yourself because you thought of this one funny idea. I really enjoy drawing mushrooms for some reason. I think they're just so fun. And there's so many different kinds of them that you can really just invent your own and see what happens. The other day, I took out my actual sketchbook, not my iPad, like my actual sketchbook, which is another thing I haven't done in a very long time. And I just kind of started doodling designs for a little mushroom person. And I came up with Morris the Mushroom. I posted a picture of him on Instagram from the initial sketch that I did. And I actually have stickers on the way. They'll be clear. I'm very excited. So keep an eye out for those. It's one of those things where I kind of want to start drawing a bunch of like little mushroom people and like put them in different scenarios and kind of see what happens, which is really exciting. I don't think I felt that excited to experiment with something since maybe high school or middle school when I first started doing like digital illustration. I'm almost 25, y'all. Like, that's a long time. So all I'm saying is, please be well, take care of yourselves. Fighting the algorithm, I could go on about that. Just remember that if you are creating content, it's because you want to create the content and not because some random person on TikTok told you you have to be posting like 20 million times a week. Sorry. It's unreasonable. It's unreasonable. Don't do that to yourself. Maybe eventually you can work yourself up to being that way, but I think you need to prioritize taking care of yourselves first. All right, I think that is enough for today. Wanted to just pop in and say hello. It's been, like I said, quite some time since I have sat down and made a video. I do have, last time I said this, 8 months happened, but I do actually have content planned. I promise I will be posting on here more this year. Like I said, I'm taking more time for myself. I'm trying to develop as my own artist, as a person, and not a workaholic. Let me know if this helped you in any way, or if you have any tips to share in the comments. I hope you're well. Please wear masks. There's still a pandemic. Sorry. There's still a pandemic. Stay inside if you can. Take care of each other. And good luck out there. I'll see you soon. Bye.